Welcome back to 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. Today's topic, overcoming adversity. And I have a special guest, Roy Olivares. Hope I didn't butcher your name.
You did not.
Okay. How's it going
You
today,
did just
sir?
fine. It's going great.
Wonderful. Thank you to the show, man. I've been knowing you for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
Owner of Royal Edge and Mower. He's one of my suppliers that we buy chainsaws, ropes, chains, bar oil, two-cycle oil, the things that you don't hear about that we need to survive in our industry on a consistent basis. So how long have you been in business now, Roy?
The shop's been in business since 1975.
Okay.
Started by my dad.
Okay.
And so we've been in that area for a very long time.
But you recently took over, and there's a lot of changes and adversity that you had to go through then and now. So tell us about that.
Constantly learning new products, having to learn and continue to educate yourself. Really, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. You always have to continue to improve yourself. Our industry is going through a little bit of a change also, where we're going from a lot of gas-powered equipment to more battery-powered equipment. So learning all that is entirely new because...
You mean to tell me we can't rely on the information we learned 15 to 20 years ago?
It's constantly changing, and that's one of the most important things, is to understand and to never be complacent. You always have to continue to learn, study, to be able to keep up with the times.
You know, for me in my business, that's what I really believe in my heart that helps me grow, because I don't want to be where I was at last year, and some people don't personally get it, and so I don't want to be in the same place mentally, physically, and spiritually than I was last year. And it's funny when I meet with my guys, we have our meetings, and I always say, hey, listen, if you're not looking to grow, there's the door. I'm not pushing you out, but if you're not looking to learn, there's nothing I can do to help you, because I want to learn. I don't want to stay stagnant. I don't want to stay in the same place that I was last year or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because the only way you can move forward is by growing. And how do we grow? We learn. There's so much new technology, and you get these older school guys like, oh, we always done it like this, and this is where we're going to do it. It's like, they also rode horse and buggy back in the day. I don't see you with a horse and buggy out.
Yeah.
They also rode bicycles back in the day. We don't do that anymore.
That's interesting you say that, because I've made it a point now whenever we're interviewing new potential employees, is I always make it a point to emphasize that we want them to strive to do and to learn additional positions. We want them to not be complacent or be okay with just sticking or learning what they were hired to do. So we always like to cross-train, and I always tell people I want to hire people that are ambitious, people that want to grow, people that want to have a place where there's an opportunity that you can grow and change positions, and of course also to earn better pay.
Absolutely. And sometimes, because when you get that person or people that don't want to grow, they're okay with status quo, it becomes challenging. It's not hard. It becomes challenging more for them, because they see everybody around them growing, and then a jealous spirit takes over, and then disgruntlement takes over as well, and now they're not happy.
Yep.
Because they feel like somebody's surpassed them, and or it's favoritism, or it's this, or it's that. Like, no, look in the mirror, it's you. You don't want to grow. I'm giving you the tools to help you grow.
Yeah, and then that spreads like a cancer, that negativity in the workplace.
Yeah.
So that's why having people that are all working towards the same goal, because sometimes it feels like if you have the wrong staff, you have the wrong employees, sometimes it feels like they're working against you, like you're just paddling upstream.
It was funny, in one of my podcasts we did a while back or so, I mentioned this book, From Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he said, it doesn't matter who you have on the bus, you just want the right people on the bus.
That's right.
And because when you got the right people on the bus, we all work towards the same goal, to get it done, be efficient. And it's vital. It's like breathing oxygen when you got the right people on the bus, because certain things don't have to explain because they get it. Part of our process, we don't get to do it all the time, but when we hiring for certain positions, we if the person's married or not, we want to take you to dinner. We want to, not talk about business stuff. We just want to see who you are as a person, as a man or a woman, just to get to know you. And if you're married, I want to know your spouse. People are like, why you want to know your spouse? I want to know if she's crazy or he's crazy. I want to know who I'm dealing with before I give you the rights of passage through the front door. Yep. Because those things are important. People don't realize it's important. I don't need a spouse showing up on my job site telling me their spouse is working too many hours and you don't know how to run. This is the kind of stuff that you have to deal with from people if you don't do your homework.
Yeah, and it's important too that you're happy with with where you work and the environment that your employers are providing. If you're unhappy or you're in a place where there's a lot of negativity, you can only fake that for so long.
Absolutely.
Try to have a place where people aren't waking up and dreading having to go to. So try to have a good atmosphere and try to maintain a lot of positivity. I always say I prefer to hire people that are intelligent and have a positive attitude over somebody with like extensive experience, because a lot of times somebody that has a lot of extensive experience, if they're not a quick learner or they have a negative outlook or they're just not a positive individual, it's a lot easier to bring somebody in who's intelligent, fast learner with a positive attitude. We find that we're more successful with that over focusing so much on just someone's level of experience.
I was interviewing a person, I don't know exactly how long ago, but I was interviewing it, and about 15 minutes into the interview, I stopped the interview and shook the gentleman's hand and say, hey, this is I appreciate your time. If I owe you anything for your time, I'll write you a check right now, but this is not going to work. And he goes, what do you mean? I was like, man, so I'm listening to you, and I just realized this is not going to be a good fit. It's like everything, you want everything to be about you. I need this. I need to do this. Like, you're no value to this company. I hear all your experience and what's going to work for you. At one time, have you mentioned how you're going to be a good fit and help the company and be a part of the team? Because we're a team. There's no I.
Yep.
We're one sound. We're one heartbeat. And I can't jump through all this hoop for one person because I'm not going to be able to keep you happy, and you're just not going to be a good fit.
Yep.
He was dumbfounded. I'm like, dude, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing, especially in the summertime, to have to deal with the heat. But then when you have to deal with certain personalities, there's already a lot on the plate. And so, I'm not going to make it more challenging than it have to be by putting the wrong person on the bus.
Yep.
Because you got the wrong person on the bus, you're driving down the road, and then the other person, hey, I need to go back. This is not, listen, this bus, there's no stopping. The bus is going in the direction. I'm reminded of a story. These gentlemen were on a boat, and they got lost, and it was real foggy out. And so they passed another boat. He said, whatever you do, just head due west, regardless how it looks. Head due west. He said, you'll be able to see the light tower, and you're heading in the right direction where you're going. Well, it's dark, it's foggy, and the one guy said, going due west, and the other guy, he's going nuts. He said, dude, turn this boat around. He said, you tripping, man, we lost. Man, that guy don't know what he's talking about. And he's yelling, cussing this dude out. And the other dude, he's like, you know what? He said, head due west. Whatever you do, head due west. And, this dude for 5-10 minutes just laying into him. And right when he was ready to give up and turn around and give in to this guy, they saw the light towers. How many people have lost their lives out there at sea just because you got the wrong person on the boat?
Yep.
That's not willing to listen to somebody that, hey, listen, you're heading in the right direction. Just head due west. You guys will be all right. So when the adversity came, when the fog came and the night, and it looks like you're off course, you have to have that plan to overcome that adversity when it comes, because you deal with that. I have to tell the guys sometimes, listen, I seen the weather report before I got to work today. I don't need to know how hot it's going to be. it may get pretty warm on the outside, but don't let it get warm on the inside, because once you do, you're smoked. You're no good to yourself or us.
Absolutely.
So if you come into work talking about how hot it's going to be, you're no good. You're not no good to the workplace you're at, no good to your family, because you're about to lose your job. And, you're hurting where you're working at because of the fact that you're focused on the weather instead of your job.
That's always been one thing that I have always worked on and will continue to make improvements on, is understanding a team's morale and what that can do to a company, what that can do to an organization. Making sure, talking to your employees and knowing them, like you were saying, on that level of what their outlooks are, and how what their perception of their workplace is, to be able to have that good team, positive. And business is a lot like ours, where it's seasonal. We go through a few months where things kind of settle down a little bit, and it's more like a normal business. And then usually when summer comes, then it's all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that. I call it keeping your finger on the pulse.
Yep.
You have to have your finger on the pulse. And with me, it's in the beginning, it was harder to delegate more than I delegate now. And even now, if I'm on the job site, it's really hard. So it's like I'm on a lot of job sites, but I make sure I don't go with my aces with on some of these job sites, because even though they're really good at what they do, it's hard, because in my mind as a chess player, it's like I see so many moves ahead. I'm like, man, what is he doing? He's boxing himself in. He shouldn't do it that way. And so that's a challenge for me, and I've learned to overcome that by not just going to the job site, because it's not that I'm faster, I'm more efficient, and I see things 7 to 10 moves ahead, and I have a unfair advantage. I see most of the jobs before they even go out to them, so I already had my plan of attack, and so I'm always training as well. And I say, hey, listen, I didn't want to say that to you in the field because we're in the heat of the battle, but you have to get those limbs out of your way. Don't get caught between a limb. If something happens, or a beehive or a hazard that you can't see, you're stuck because you didn't clear a path to the next limb. And it's like you always got to clear that path. And I'm speaking French because they want to bounce around and they want to go here. I said, no, if you got a limb, get rid of it. The tree's coming out. there's no use leaving a stub sitting there so you can run into it with a bucket.
Another thing that I wanted to say too is having a system in place is extremely crucial for the overall performance of a company. So to talk a little bit about that, you started your business from
with a $40 pole saw from Home Depot.
Yeah. And going through that transition of, especially too when you start, I'm in a little bit of a different position in the sense of, a family business, second generation now. So like I had them to help, kind of teach me the ropes, and always there even now still whenever I need advice or, but going from that transition of you're it and you're doing everything, and then as your company continues to grow, learning to delegate, learning to have trust and confidence in your employees that that they're going to follow your system, and that they're going before they want to come in with ideas of, oh, we should do it like this or we should do it like that. I always tell people, hey, listen, we're open door policy, always open to listen to suggestions and what you think that we can do to improve everything, but initially just follow our system first. Learn our system, follow our system. So I'm sure it's same way for you too when you
absolutely.
get new employees.
So, but we have the same system. And I was like, listen, when we're in the heat of the battle, is not the time to reinvent the wheel. If you want to talk to this, I always get them with this one. I say, listen, if you have some suggestions, let's meet on one of your days off, and we'll sit down and see the strategy that you have. But being in the service business, like we're in the middle. I'm not, I don't want to sound mean, but it's like this is not the time.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I want to hear your ideas when we need to get this work done because of all the work that's up. So if you think you for the sit doing on work time to try to reinvent the wheel, I'm not hearing you right now because we got to get this done.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be any changes done at this moment. And so you got to make sure you say that, because sometimes I make sure I say it, because sometimes I've had some people, they'll come in here and they'll do the middle of a work day and they want to, look at the name on your shirt. What's the name of that shirt? Because guys, they'll get mad. Hey, man, you don't never want to, everything's got to be your way. I say, I'm sorry. Who was it that signs your checks again? What does that name say on your shirt? And so if you have an idea, I'm very open to listening to it, just not right now, because I want to get this job done the way I asked for it to get done so we can move forward. Because a lot of times people, when you start running into those people, I found in the past 20 years that, because it's not just an isolated event, it's a constant, they want to do things their way. And sometimes I have to suggest that maybe it's time for you to start your own business, and then you'll see if that works or not for you. But, right, you want to be, you have to stay positive. You want to be sympathetic. You want to let the person know that you're here and listening to them. But at the same time, they have to understand the position of when and how. It's got to be the right time. It can't just be, I don't feel like doing it his way, or I think my way is a better way. And that's what makes it sometimes a little challenging to overcome that adversity at that moment if you don't have the right people on the bus. Because then you have to, these days you don't have to deal with it too much because we try to keep the right people on the bus. And that's what allows us to do what we do at a high level. I've learned being positive is just not a play on words. It's just not saying, I'm going to stay positive. It's just, I've learned to see the good in everything. It's not, I've been told, I can't be like you. Everybody's not like you. Always smiling. We got problems in life. Because sometimes you're so positive, people look like you don't have problems. I just learned, and I know for a fact, the more you talk about your problems, the more problems you're going to have. Mm-hmm. The more you take problems and turn them into solutions, the less problems you're going to have. It's all in how you look at it. And my faith has played a positive role into it, because I know as a believer in Christ, it says, I'm fighting a fixed fight. All I got to do is believe. And I really believe that. And I reap the benefits and results of that, especially in my business. The name of this podcast is 7,000 Volts for some of the adversity that I personally deal with. And I personally look at 7,000 Volts as more than just dealing directly with power lines, but we all in some way, shape, or form deal with 7,000 volts in our life indirectly. What are some of the indirect ways that you've dealt with setbacks in your company?
Just like most other businesses during COVID, we had major issues being able to find new employees, because we did experience a lot of growth during those few years between a lot of businesses, a lot of our customers getting additional work and getting additional projects to do for their customers. We experienced a lot of growth too. So we had a very short period of time where our business exploded. It kind of picked up in a major heavy way. So maintaining your level of quality at the same time of going through a lot of growth, making sure that everything is getting done when it's supposed to get done, mm-hmm. and that you don't lose that appreciation for your customers, for every single one of your customers. That was a major challenge, to be able to take care of everything that needed to be taken care of at the same time, in such a compressed, short amount of time.
I mean, I can relate. Like we're always busy, but in the summer months we are extremely busy. So, and because of that, I made a rule like I won't hire in the summertime because I don't have the energy nor time to train somebody, regardless of the experience level that they're at. It's hard to train and maintain that level that you was talking about of quality. And so if that means we have to turn down some jobs and do less work to still produce a quality product, then that's what we do, because there's no need, in my opinion, when it comes to business, of getting 1,000 jobs that you can't do if you're not going to give quality, because then now you ruin a good name that you took so long to build. And so it's remarkable how we're able to do what we do as a small business. I remember when God told Gideon, he said, "You got too many people, I can't get the glory." When he had like 10,000 soldiers, he said, "You got to send some of them home." And he wound up sending 8,000 or 9,000 soldiers home, and I think he fought the war with 300 people. When you try to fathom that, it's like, come on, man, how you going? Listen, when God's in control, all things are possible, and we just got to believe. So that's a part of my belief system. So when I pass a job site and doing the same work that I do, and I see 10 and 15 guys on one job site, I say, hey, more power to them. But as a business person that's overskilled, somebody's got to pay that bill, and a lot of times it's the customer. And so it's just amazing how you see those different things and where you're at and where you're striving to get, but you're producing the quality at a high level. I know that your company has been a main source of what we do for over 20 years. I can't say I bought my first saw from you guys, because I bought my first saw from Home Depot for $40. I don't even think you guys have a $40 saw.
No, we do.
In fact, one of the pole saws I bought from you guys like $400 or $500. Yep. But it just goes to show that first $40 investment, and I still have that saw. I always tell people on this show, and when I speak and I go out, I still have it. It's above my desk in my office. But it's a symbol of, hey, this is where I started at. And
a lot of people forget that. A lot of people forget to appreciate where you come from, and I think kind of get lost in not valuing what it took. You know what I mean? What it took for you to get there. Being humble, like you said earlier, being positive. Those are, I could say, out of some of our clients that I get along with the best, they are humble, running multi-million dollar companies. They're humble individuals. They're, maintain positive, and man, we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Having those relationships and having with your customers, to me, is one of the things that I value the most.
Yes. I enjoy working with you, man. Especially when we have a problem, I can always call. Hey, listen, I need this. You're like, either you have it, or you be like, oh, I can have it by Wednesday, or I'll have it by Friday. And it's just open line of communication. Sometimes people have a unrealistic and unfair expectation on you as a business owner, instead of just like, we're human. We're not perfect. We have to deal with what we deal with. For you deal with products, so you have to deal with your suppliers when they tell you, hey, we're 2 weeks out, a month out, or we're raising prices. Me, as a service provider, it's more, hey, listen, if the weather cooperates, we're going to be there. And so we put ourselves in a position as far as equipment to make sure that we have more than enough. So if one go down, you're good. I remember working with your mom when I bought my first chainsaw. Well, my first actual chainsaw, not a pole saw. Yeah. So my second saw, first chainsaw. And man, I trimmed about 90 palm trees with that thing, and it blew the motor up. And I wasn't having it because it's my first saw. And it was in 60 days. I was like, this is unacceptable, man. I just bought this brand new saw. Being the uneducated person I was at that time, I didn't realize, oh, between those things, I should have took that saw apart and pulled some of that stuff out of it because those palms clogged it up. And that first time I'm dealing with this because it's my first saw. And so it took about 2 or 3 weeks while they waited on the company to see whether they're going to warranty it out. It's the only saw I had. It's not like now where I'll have like 20 or 30 saws. It's like, at the time, man, it was feast or famine. I was like, man, what do I do? How am I gonna cut these trees? You know, so I went back using my $40 pole saw, and then eventually rented a saw from, I think, Sunbelt Rentals or somewhere. But I had to overcome that adversity at the time, and quite frankly, I didn't know how. You know, this is new. It's like how do you deal with it? You know, you got jobs lined up that you need to do. And the one piece of equipment you had just went down. So it's like, but I overcame it. And now it's a lot easier to overcome those type of adversities, but there's always some type of adversity. And I try to do it cool as a cucumber, regardless of what's going on. We can handle it. In fact, yesterday when I was working, when we got to the job site, on the third job, my backyard lift, wouldn't start. So a guy sent me a video saying, hey, it's not working. So I walked over to the truck and I said, turn the key again. I said, man, that sound like the starter. He's like, how can it sound like the starter and then they making no sounds? I said, well, we just recently replaced the ignition switch and we just replaced the computer board. Not that I really need to explain that. It could be like this. Something don't crank. You see the battery of the starter, and I know the battery's brand new. Yep. I said, let's take this cover off. Somebody grabbed me a hammer, tapped on the starter, fired right up. Yep. Completed the job. Lift got back to the office. I said, now take that starter off. And as luck what happened on a Saturday, my supplier was still open that rebuilds my equipment like that. So dropped it off to him, and by the first part of next week, I'll have the starter back. Just simple problems. Like, it's not that bad. Sometimes people want to doom and gloom. Oh, this is bad. No, time out. Yep. Let's relax. Let's figure this out. Because this job got to get it done. Whether we have to go get a replacement piece of equipment or not, let's figure this out before we throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely. Man, having a good team of employees around you too, and a good management team that is constantly thinking outside the box, or that knows to like stop, breathe in real quick,
absolutely,
come up with a solution to what we have in front of us. There's no need to it's the end of the world to have it. It's the end of the world demeanor or attitude.
Solutions.
What's that?
I said solutions.
Absolutely.
Anybody can tell me that the building's on fire. I'm looking for that person, or like the people that say, hey, boss, the building was on fire. It looks like it's a total loss. It's okay. The fire department put the fire out and already got us a place next door. We can start work and do business as usual the next day.
That's one of the things that I enjoy about this line of work the most, is that every day coming up with solutions for customers, helping customers out, especially too, because all of my customers are business owners, whether they're, a single guy that's got a single man operation, or somebody that's got, 100 or 200 employees. Coming up with solutions are some of the things that I enjoy the most about my job. Sometimes I'm there, 14, 16 hours a day. And a lot of times I'm like, oh my God, it's already time to go. So I don't dread the time that I spend at work. And like I said, what I enjoy the most is helping customers out, coming up with solutions to their problems. Especially, as you know, too, in our service department, nobody's walking up to the service department. Everybody that's walking up to the service department is walking up because they have they have a problem. They have something that they need to fix. So touching into something that you mentioned earlier about when you initially got started and that was like your only piece of equipment, those are some of the things that we have made sure not to lose within the company is those little things. Like a lot of times, we're not only bending over backwards for like our biggest customer who spends the most money with us. Most of our customers, they know they can call me, a guy that's just starting a business. This guy has one piece of equipment. I don't care how busy we are, we'll move him to the very top of the list, get his equipment looked at right away so that, you can keep running your business. I understand that a lot of the equipment that customers are bringing to us is not, a lot of times when we hire somebody for the service department, they don't understand that, hey, this is not just a chainsaw, or it's not just, a line trimmer, it's not just a blower. Like, somebody is running a business
their lifeline,
using this tool, and this is how they make a living. So, we need to make sure that if you know that it's a small guy and you know that, this is the only, mower that he has, or it's the only chainsaw that he has, get him moved,
absolutely.
Flip the world upside down if that's what it needs to be able to get their equipment back to them. Another thing too is we get a lot of customers that travel, from far away. We have a customer right now that he moved his operation to Crystal River, and he still comes from Crystal River. I mean, I don't know how many other shops and how many other stores he's passing, but he's still making the drive. So I try to tell our guys too, like, hey, if you see somebody, is coming from Riverview or Gibsonton, just be mindful and let's not make them have multiple trips.
Well, I really enjoyed working with your mom. I kind of miss her, but I enjoy working with you. So it's like I'm stuck between the rock and the hard place, Miss Lisa, make sure you tell I said hello, because
I will.
Just working with her during the years, it's sometimes it's not about the equipment, it's just about the relationship that you built, and getting that phone call, hey, listen, that part didn't come in, but we're working on it. If something changes, if there's something else I can do for you, if I can get you another saw or something. Like in the early years, it's like, I ain't got it, doc. It's like I need that saw that I already paid for. But she understood, and she's, and just like she done passed it down to you, and you understand the business, and that's why I like, and this is why people drive for so far away to get to deal with you, because I'm here in Oldsmar, you guys are up in Clearwater / Pinellas Park, and there's a couple, you got other shops right around the corner, but to me, it's about the relationships, and I appreciate the relationships, because when you have that relationships, you have somebody that's going to move heaven and earth for you when you have a situation. Hey, I appreciate your time on the show. It's been a blessing to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I always see you. So you guys continue to do what you do. Keep that positive mindset, the positive outlook, the things that you do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Remember to visit us on ljtucker.com. Remember, my book is coming out pretty soon. I can't give you everything on the show. You're going to have to get the book to get some of the meat and potatoes. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a blessed day.